Hello everybody, and welcome to my channel. Reiki with Anna. For today's video, we are going to be focusing on evolution, supporting us as we evolve. I feel so many shifts happening, and during these shifting moments, I think it can be important to turn inward and see what's going on inside. It's a good practice all the time, I guess, but particularly in times of upheaval, transformation, shifting energies, shifting. Can be helpful to look internally and start to ask ourselves where we might be in need of inviting in a little bit more strength, or inviting in a little bit more attention, and then taking action on that and moving forward. So I'm sending a big, huge hug to everyone out there. I'm excited for this video. We are going to start with lighting some incense and setting our intention. And this video is paired with a video with the new moon, with a video session about the new moon. I wanted to kind of connect some of the things that this new moon holds for us into a session that some of you had requested. As always, thank you so much for your requests. So I thought I would sort of combine the two. This seems like a nice time to invite supportive energy for evolution, for our personal evolution. I think that I was reading something, maybe I'll link the website below, about this particular new moon and the kind of evolution that we're experiencing here, and how there's sometimes it can be very internal, that we're almost looking too much inside, and that maybe it's time to take a peek outside. So this is to sort of support that development, but not to get too caught up in the navel gazing, that we are also aware and awake to what's going on around us, which I know most of you are, but it's just important to sort of invite that in, that our practice can be and should be about more than just our experience. That's why it's so beautiful that we have the collective here to, communicate with, connect with. I think it's so special. So, I'm gonna go ahead and light this delicious smelling incense. This is a yin and yang incense. It's really nice. I wanted to get some of this so that I could do a session on yin and yang energies, but I thought it would be nice for kind of balancing and supporting this evolution too. It's very nice. It's very fresh, but also perfumey. Okay. So on behalf of our wisest, most empowered selves, in loving comfort and perfect balance, I wish to conduct this Reiki session for support through this evolution, for rebuilding, and for establishing a strong foundation. Okay. I'm now just going to draw the symbols about a foot from your heart center here. I'll be muttering the words under my breath here. Okay, beautiful. So now shifting gears a little bit with this incense, we are going to shift our intention here and now use this incense to clear and cleanse anything that is not in service of the intention that we have set. So just sort of moving through the etheric field of the collective, through time and space, clearing and cleansing anything that is not in service of this profound evolution. Palpable, powerful, necessary change. I think that many of us are experiencing this evolution in a personal manner, as well as globally, hopefully. So as we move and change and evolve, we're just sort of creating some space some space for that newness. Preparing ourselves, rebuilding. And there's a lot of rebirth here as we evolve. So I think it's a very hopeful intention, a very hopeful session, and evolution means opportunity for something new. How many of you feel like you're going through a personal evolution right now? How many people feel a shift inside of them? Me too. Beautiful. Beautiful. It smells so yummy. Now we are going to move through with our selenite wand. So, just clearing anything now that you might have come into this session with. Moving through your etheric field, your energy body, and just clearing anything that might have kind of stuck on, taken hold, and kind of clung on from your day. Any thoughts that feel repetitive and disempowering maybe, or maybe just sort of like they're taking up valuable space in your mental plane. Let's clear that while we're speaking on it. I'd love to hear how you're all feeling in general. As always. What you're experiencing this season, what you're experiencing today. So interesting to me seeing synchronicities in the comments section where a few of you will have similar experiences. Some very challenging, others very joyful. Runs the gamut. Okay, now we have a little bit of spray, aura spray. This one is lavender. I've been using this a lot lately. I think it's so nice for support. It's a very supportive aromatherapy. I was reading that it supports the immune system, lavender. And it's very supportive. Helps with balance, energetically speaking. So I'm just going to be spraying this on either side and then down at your feet. Left foot, right foot. Okay, so now we're just going to comb through and just sort of see what's going on. So I'd like to invite these two stones in because I think through this evolution, we just want to make sure that we're staying grounded, that we're staying balanced, that we've got an anchor, that we have security and safety, that we feel centered. And as we sort of rebuild and establish this foundation, I thought that this petrified wood and this septarian would be great. Septarian the word means walls, so sort of really building those foundational walls. And then this petrified wood is really great for just establishing those deep roots of the tree. We're placing these on either side of your hips. I'm going to be placing this amethyst cluster right at your crown. Very gently. This is just going to rest right on top for connecting with the divine. Trying to find that divine guidance, that beautiful connection to the divine, to divinity, and any kind of guidance that might present itself, and kind of being open to that, trusting. Then this lapis lazuli for the third eye. I wanted to use this for sort of seeing what we want to create and then being able to attract it to us. Okay, now I have sodalite for the throat chakra. to help us speak our truth, to help us know our truth. We can't evolve from something towards something unless we're open and honest about where we are right now. I think, globally speaking, there's a shift in terms of that honesty. I know many of you feel that, and it can be a little create a lack of balance, but we're evolving, we're stepping up to the plate. Is that the first sports analogy I've ever used? So, for truth, for connecting to our truth. So placing this very gently right at the throat chakra there. And now I have this beautiful piece of rhodonite. I love rhodonite because it's very nurturing. And I think it's a great stone for turbulent or traumatic times because I think it can be very inspiring to kind of remember that where you come from or where you've come from is not necessarily where you're going, that we can evolve and we can transform. So it's sort of about acceptance and forgiveness, self-love, compassion, understanding others. And I think it's a very hopeful thing to sort of, the way I like to look at it is that this pink is sort of like busting through the black. So it's like even in dark times, we can push our way through. I see it as a very hopeful stone. So with perfect respect, I'll place this right at the heart center there, and that will just sort of emanate and just kind of billow up and around. Now I have this yellow jasper that I'd like to place at the solar plexus. We're just kind of creating a grid here. And this yellow jasper I like to use for action, positive action, momentum, movement, saying yes. So I'll place this ever so gently right at the solar plexus, activating that center there. Oh, I was going to use that one, but let me use it too. Okay. So now I'd like to use this sunstone on the solar plexus. Oh, excuse me, on the sacral. This one is great for independence, strength, pushing through adversity. I'm going to be placing this right 2 to 3 fingers beneath the belly button there. And now I'm just going to place a few pieces of tiger's eye kind of on the outside of your hips above the 2 stones that we placed before. So these are just going to rest gently, sort of between the sacral and the roots on the outside of the hips. Okay. Yeah. So these are going to be for confidence, for confidently moving in the direction of our dreams, confidently moving towards this evolved state. And this evolution can be from a spiritual perspective, can be emotional evolution, any of that. I think focusing on how we can ready ourselves, how we can prepare ourselves for change can be a very beautiful experience. So I'm going to be taking this pineapple quartz. Love this little guy. And I'm just going to be running through and kind of activating, drawing the symbols, and just kind of moving through with this little friend here. I feel like with this pineapple quartz, it's very like spiritually charged. I don't know how else to say it. Whenever I work with it and invite it in, I feel like synchronicities start to happen a bit more. Or maybe I'm just more aware of them. I think it's a very connected zone for me. So I don't know if you've ever worked with pineapple quartz before, but if you have, I'd love to hear if you've had a similar experience, if you feel similarly. I'm now going to comb through with this black kyanite, and we're just kind of going to be sifting out any blockages, any doubts, any disempowering thoughts when it comes to evolution. So just kind of moving through so that we can break those up and create a beautiful flow. The only permanence is change. So creating that gorgeous flow, which is what Reiki is all about, right? Creating that beautiful flow. So that our natural state is movement. That our natural state is prepared for flux. That it doesn't, that we can bend and we don't break, that we're not brittle. Mixing metaphors here, but that's okay. So just kind of combing through, clearing anything that is no longer of service here. Inviting in lots of room, breaking up any places that are held. Maybe we're clinging to the past, maybe we're clinging to old belief systems that are no longer working. breaking those up, creating a beautiful flow and lots of space. Lots of space. This particular new moon is a very healing new moon. I think this is a great time for this. All right. Great. Now I'm going to use the rattle. We're just going to be shaking up the energy. Shaking it up so we can move it around. So that we can kind of play around and see where we need to shift and move that energy, making it vibrate, kind of thick with vibration so that it's easier, more malleable, easier to move around. Starting at the crown and moving down. Just combing through with my fingers now. Spray here. So now I would like to move through with these two stones, Kumbhaba Jasper, great for supporting transformation, for inviting in that beautiful movement. So I'm going to actually start with this one because my hands aren't very wet, but I don't want to mess around with the malachite just in case. I'll wait till they're completely dry. So I'm going to be moving through the etheric field with this Kumbhaba Jasper. And now for malachite. I haven't ever used this on this channel, I don't think, but I've been called to use it a lot lately. It's such a beautiful stone. It's a great stone for transformation and for movement as well. It's very supportive of the heart space and the heart center. But it's one of those stones where it can kind of amplify the energy around. So if you are feeling particularly anxious or stressed or anything like that, and you're working with malachite, it can exacerbate that a little bit. So just be mindful when using it. Like everything, be mindful when doing everything. Just moving through here. Okay. Now I want to take these two little stones and run them through your aura. This is a fire agate. Again, I don't think I've ever used this one on this channel before. I love using this stone. Great stone to, get the fire going, light that fire under your keister. And just kind of get things moving, That first step, that plunge, that passionate zing, zest, movement, and pairing that with bloodstone, benevolence, openness, so that we kind of like soul search, but instead of kind of looking inward and caving in on ourselves, that we're soul searching as we expand outward. So it's sort of like this moving kind of evolution that instead of sort of looking inward, planning, doing everything, and then taking it, we're sort of like, as we move, we see things more clearly. We're moving from a different perspective. I hope that makes sense. But I'm gonna start again at the crown and just kind of move through with these two, pairing both of those, playing off of each other. Moving through the heart center. Now the solar plexus. Connecting that to the throat, to that truth, openness, honesty. Moving from that place. Taking action from this place of honesty and openness. Sacral, moving through the tough emotions that might be associated with this evolution. Being kind to yourself throughout it. It's new, so we're gonna stumble, we're gonna trip up. Perfection doesn't exist. We're just moving through, doing our best. Great. All right. So now I'm just going to do some hands-on healing. And for this I'm going to spray my hands, draw some symbols, and then I'll begin. This on your shoulder. Solar plexus now. I feel like the sacral feels very at peace in a way. Now the roots. Now I'm just going to clear one more time with our trusty selenite wand and then do a bit of fluffing. And then we'll send you merrily on your way. Now fluffing up your aura. Creating lots of space here for you to have the freedom to move, think, feel, act differently. The freedom to create and establish these beautiful boundaries, these beautiful new foundations, all of that. It feels so buzzy in here. It's so nice. I'm going to spray to your right, to your left, down at your feet. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Happy new moon. I'm not sure when I'm uploading this video, but I think it's going to be either on or before the full moon, new moon. And if not, then happy next new moon. I think everyone needs a hug right now, so I'm sending you a big, big hug. I want to thank all of you for being here. Thank you so much to my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. And thank you to all of you for subscribing. Thank you. I've noticed that more of you have been subscribing, and that's so exciting. So, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. And yeah, any comments down below would be beautiful. I love to read them. I love to hear about your experience. If there are any requests, any of that, I love. It's all welcome. And yeah, until next time, be well.